there at Velivada when we found that our brother Rohith was not there, and also Radhikama was calling us on the day. Somehow Rohith is not picking up the call. Nana, can you trace where he is? And we also were so much engaged in the struggle at that point in time that we each of us could not keep a track of where we are. All of us were engaged in some or the other activity, and it was that particular month. And I still recollect we were doing our DRCs, Doctoral Research Committee reports. We had to submit. We have to do our work in progress seminars, everything by being there in Velivada. And we were working from Velivada and we were presenting from Velivada. And at that point in time, Rohith also was going ahead with his work in progress thing, and we thought he must be there in Umana's room, because he said he was looking for some material over there. And upon that, when we all went there and when we knocked the door wasn't opened, and when we knocked it several times, it didn't get open. And we didn't understand any reason, because for us Rohith was someone who was very brave. For us Rohith was someone who rebelled against any form, anything that was there at that point in time, whose voices were so important that they could transform the functioning of an organization. And Rohith was someone who was seen as the leader of Ambedkar Students Association at that point in time. Hence, we were not quite sure what was happening, why was the door not open. And then when we called for security, when security opened the door, that led us to this shock of seeing Rohith being no longer there with us physically. But when we all have assembled at NRS, and when that letter was read for the first time, and those words were, when everyone heard those words, that the value of a man has been reduced to his immediate identity, never was a man treated as a nine thing. When these words have spread across, Rohith lives with us. He lives with us through his thoughts. He lives with us through what he stated, because even till date, never the value of a person is still reduced to their immediate identities. Just yesterday, one student had to was institutionally murdered because he was born into a particular community, because he was a Dalit. And I was keenly listening to Azad's speech while I was coming here. We still recollect those points in time when Muzaffarnagar Baki Hai documentary was supposed to be screened here, when Nakul Singh Chowhan's documentary, which exposed all the kinds of tensions that were existing and the kind of communal divide atmosphere that was existing at Muzaffarnagar, and that was the main bone of contention of this entire issue. Look, these Dalits are speaking about Muzaffarnagar, they are speaking about communal divide, they are speaking about casteist divide that is persisting here, and hence ABVP has launched an assault on Ambedkar Students Association. It has not launched that assault singularly, it can never do that. It has launched this vociferous assault with the assistance of the state. The entire, can someone imagine the entire ministry, two ministries, two cabinet ministers responding against Ambedkar Students Association, which has no political affiliation? The kind of force that was put in to suppress this particular organization was so enormous, right? And yet this organization survives in this campus even till date. It survives because it stood to the cause of self-respect. The cause of self-respect which Azad led, the cause of self-respect with which Madhavrao sir, who is a retired IAS officer, he is not an ordinary retired IAS officer. He was a chief secretary of the state of Andhra Pradesh, who fought for the cause of Dalits when he was still in office. And even post-retirement, on the very same day, after hearing the news of the institutional murder of Rohith Vemula, he came out to this university in the chill midnight hours and came and stood with us throughout the night. And not just throughout the night, it has been 8 years. For these 8 years of journey, he is still with us. And Chobi sir, Lakshmi Narayan sir, the SC/ST faculty forum, concerned teachers, irrespective of caste, what Rohith had said was that the value of a man has been reduced to his immediate identity. They all fought to annihilate that identity. They all fought beyond their identities, right? There are many faculties who stood with us despite having not born to this particular caste, despite having certain kind of ideological differences. But what struck them the most was that it is the cause of humanity, humanness that Rohith was speaking in his last letter, right? When someone speaks to that core, it is that spirit of that letter that shook the conscience of many of the minds of this nation. However, what it could not do was it could not disturb the casteist minds of this campus of this country. There are a few who cling to this power. There were a few who have still continued these casteist practices in this campus. Apparao, who's no longer the vice chancellor, when he was still the vice chancellor, the kind of harassment that he did, the way in which he pointedly tried to punish the faculty and students was enormous. Now, despite that, if Ambedkar Students Association, I am very specifically stating this Ambedkar Students Association, if Ambedkar Students Association chose not to meet the vice chancellor till he was there in office, that is a symbol of self-respect, which is you bloody might hold the power of the position as a vice chancellor of the university, but we refuse to consider your position of authority. Speaking against to the position of authority was very important, which Ambedkar Students Association took that call, right? Just a few years before, around 2014, when Appara was not there in the office, there was another vice chancellor. There was another regime altogether. Yet, the nature of the Brahminical institutions does not change with the change in regimes. It subsumes with these regimes as they change, right? And we had to fight a lot to seek justice for VaaradhiMedia, to seek justice for Priyal Raju, to seek justice for Senthil, to seek justice for Balraju. All of them were institutional murder, irrespective of the regimes that were persisting on this campus, that were persisting at center of state. And when we were fighting at one point in time, when we were fighting to implement OBC reservations, because for us, our entry itself comes from that magnitude of pain, suffering, with historical denial, and it is only the affirmative action policies that at least grants us a little entry into this campus. And if these affirmative action policies remain unimplemented, then there is a whole generation which is wiped to access the higher education of these universities. It is at that point in time when Ambedkar Students Association fought to implement the OBC reservation. There was a vice chancellor. We were fighting, we had fought, and we made sure that there was a third list of counseling opened. At that point in time, he called me into the office and said, Prashanth, once you are done with this course, what would be left is the statistics. That what all has got implemented, what all has not got implemented. there'll be nothing that you would gain. But now today, we all as members of Ambedkar Students Association would like to point at any person who speaks like that. It is these statistics that are important for us. For you, there may be 2-3 seats, but for us, they are lives of 2-3 generations. Right? And now, holding on to these statistics, holding on to these papers, holding on to these records, it is a historic legacy of Ambedkar Students Association, which started with Patteti Rajshekhar, who is now the Vice Chancellor of Nagarjuna University in Andhra Pradesh, which started with Nalapagar Sundarraju, and which continued over the years, right? And so this is what is the importance of organizations that are centered on the principles of self-respect. What those 10 Dalit research scholars had taught us, we still continue to live on those ideals. And wherever we go, that is because of Ambedkar Students Association, that is because of Ambedkar. If there are any failures that are there with us, they are individual failures, but all of our successes are definitely, they belong to Ambedkar Students Association. They belong to the path laid down by Baba Saheb Ambedkar. They belong to the community. And what Rohith did was, today, I mean, I was coming from Bangalore to here today. When I was having a bird's view of the geography, it is so vast. It is spread so vast. Now, when I have asked a student who at that point in time was in 7th class, have you all heard about Rohith Vemla? They said we may not have heard about Rohith Vemla then, but we definitely have heard about Rohith Vemla. Right? Now, when they hear about Rohith Vemla, they hear the words of Rohith Vemla. Thus, they wanted all of us to get suppressed. The entire actions of them, they wanted us, because we are a community who have experienced countless murders, and despite experiencing these countless murders, our community has stood for seeking for justice. They have never compromised. We had Sundur, we had Karanchedu, we had countless atrocities, and we still have faculties who still continue to go to villages despite the kind of assault that they have. And we are done almost. I don't think there's any time left. I've already taken a longer time, but I definitely would like to thank, and this, I feel liberated today. I feel liberated today in a sense because I myself took a decision not to speak on this campus. Not to speak on this campus till a certain point in time. Job is a secondary thing, but PhD was a primary thing. Now, precisely because the random accusations that are pelted against all of those who are involved in self-respect movements, they're gone, their lives are gone. They just do this politics for the sake of doing them. They have ulterior motives. We have no ulterior motives, but an emancipatory ideal that is nurtured to us through these struggles that we had inherited, right? And for us, doing research was not an ordinary thing. I had my own failures, I definitely acknowledge. But the support that was there from my supervisor, Professor G. Sridevi, was enormous. I don't think anyone could stand two consecutive vice chancellors complaining against her student that you try and control, but never was I chained. Because she knows, she studies against those chaining, those bonded servitudes. If there was someone else, I would have been thrown out of this university long back. And on the other hand, the second point was that for us, research needs continuous engagement. In 2015, when I personally took a decision that I will focus on my research, but it was this university administration which had dragged me in. In fact, Rohith was someone who was to lead the organization, who had the commitment to lead the organization. He was leading the organization in an exceptional and brilliant manner. But they had pulled us back in, and in front of the loss, the physical loss of Rohith, nothing mattered for us in the next couple of years. Whenever we were sent to jail, nor when there was a lottery charge, nor when there were cases filed, nothing mattered to us, because that loss is much more greater than all these countless number of cases, being sent to jail, all these harassments. But it did hamper us at a research level, but that didn't stop us from finishing what we were supposed to do here. And hence, I chose to speak on this day, whereas we were working for work in progress from Velivada, and we continue to work, and we continue to speak where they wanted to suppress our voices, but we cannot be suppressed. Because Rohith stands as an inspiration for us, Ambedkar stands as an inspiration for us, all of them stands as an inspiration for us, all of those who face cases stand as an inspiration for us, all of those who still stand with us stands as an inspiration for us. Now with this, I definitely would like to thank Justice for Rohith Vembala, and specifically Ambedkar Students Association for leading this cause, right? Leading this cause was important. Irrespective of the costs associated with it, Ambedkar Students Association had been leading this. And one final word, which is that it never remained with an individual. This movement never remained with an individual. It remained with a committee. It remained with the organization. It continued as and when the leadership changed. And if so many people have gathered here today, it is because of that continuity in change of leadership and carrying over the legacy that mattered the most. I hope, as Ambedkar said, you carry the caravan ahead with the kind of self-respect ideals that all of our seniors and all of the members and Rohith has given to all of us. With this, I'd like to thank for giving this opportunity. I'd like to thank everyone for standing with this cause. Jai Bhim.